So I'm
Mhm.
really curious, Tara, when you look at your life from a spiritual and I guess we could say a worldly slash secular perspective, right? How do you manage to balance the two? How do you manage to keep your spiritual side alive and vibrant and being able to hear it?
It's tough every day. I'm not
Mm.
even going to front. Like every
Right.
day, it's a struggle. I'm not going to walk around and say, "Oh my God, I hear the wisdom of God every single time." Right. Like, no, there's times I'm like, you know what? What am I doing today? So
Mhm.
there's times where I do hear it. There's times where I'm super focused and I'm laser focused about what's going on. And there's days where I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, this is
Mm.
crazy. But I feel like sometimes that's where I hear sometimes where you have to just be still so that you can
You
hear
do.
God's voice sometimes, because sometimes you just have so much going on that it consumes you, where you really need to just sit down and just
Hmm.
be one sometimes. And I'm
Yeah.
working on that because I don't do that as often as I should, and I have to work on it. And they also say God is not a God of confusion. I heard
Right.
that. And
Yeah.
I was like, that makes so much sense. So a lot
Right.
of times when we're confused or we're nervous or we have
Hmm.
these feelings and it's like, oh man, I need to sit down. I need to like really declutter my mind. But that
Hmm.
happens to me every day, every single
Mm.
day.
I'm curious. So, since it's something that is occurring for you daily, like that means that you really have to be very diligent when it comes to managing it and alleviating the noise, being able to discern what things you should pay attention to versus those things that you should ignore. What does that practice look like for you on a daily basis?
I guess for me, the biggest thing, because I suffer with anxiety. So
Mm.
I have had to learn how to really combat that
Hmm.
and still the noise in my brain so that I can hear, shoot, my own voice sometimes. Sometimes I can't hear anything. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just silence all the noise so that I
Right.
can hear God's voice and myself sometimes. So I know in the morning I've had this ritual, of course, where I pray in the morning and I do my meditation and I really just sit still. And it's before I look at my phone or do
Mm.
anything. Like I'm really just being one with myself. And that alone has helped me so much. And even when I'm feeling anxious or something's going on, I'm able to really just settle myself down. And that's very important in order to get yourself together, because it could be anywhere. You could be in a store, you could be wherever, and you can be like, oh my God, what just happened? Or somebody, climate that we're in America. Like it's very, you never know what can happen. So you have to be
Mhm.
able to just calm yourself sometimes and really say, you know what, that's not worth it. Or, you know what, I'm not going to say so and so. Or so, you good, just relax. It's not that serious. So I have to be able to calm myself. But it really starts in the morning with me. Whenever I wake up,
Okay.
is really centering myself and
Mhm.
settling myself and setting my intention for my day. Like that's very important.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that I know I need to do a better job of personally, right? Is having that what I've heard people call it, like quiet time. People also
Mhm.
talk about the practice of meditation. And I'll be honest, I find it difficult to kind of just sit down and be quiet. Like I've tried on multiple occasions to do it, and it's definitely one of those areas that I still need to improve in. I can sit down and read a book. I can sit down and watch a teaching. I can sit down and do a Bible study like this. I can sit down and do something that I'm active, but I have a very difficult time like sitting, not necessarily sitting still, but sitting still and just being quiet. I think I've definitely fallen victim to reaching for my phone, even though I've been putting things in place to try to minimize how frequently I'm grabbing my phone or I'm looking at my phone and things of that nature. But still,
Mhm.
when I'm just quiet, even I think for myself in prayer, right? I'll be the first one to admit I'm not a prayer warrior. I don't do as what I call freestyle pray. Like I'm not very good at the freestyle prayers where it just comes off the top of my dome and I can just talk to him so eloquently and so lovely. Like some of y'all got that gift. Shout out to y'all, man. I don't. Like for me, it really helps for me to have, in some cases, something written down or some idea of what I'm going to be talking about. And when I find myself in a position where I'm without those things, yeah, like there's just so many thoughts coming into my mind, and I'm learning how to cipher them out and figure out what stuff is important that I should focus on and what are those distractions And, maybe other people out there can relate to it too. Like it definitely is a challenge. Shout out to everybody who's gifted with that ability and who doesn't
Mhm.
struggle with that. But, for us that do, it is a daily practice of trying to discern what thoughts and what voices we should allow in and what things we need to close off.